And we're very delighted to have with us in the studio Matthew Brand, who's joining us from his home or somewhere in New York.
Yeah, currently I'm at Mannes School of Music where I study on Saturdays, so I'm glad to be joining you.
Good to have you. And you're an 11th grader at the Horace Mann School. That's also in Manhattan. Is that right?
It's in the Bronx. Yeah,
That's in the Bronx.
I live in Manhattan and my school is in the Bronx, so I take the trip.
Right. Now, Matthew, you perform. We'll get to this in a minute, but you're going to perform the Fusion Fantasy, and it's written by a composer by the name of Matthew Brand,
Yep, that's true.
a very distinguished composer from New York. Now, Matthew, you began studying the piano at what age?
I started studying when I was four with Donna Weng Friedman, my teacher who I still study with today.
I see. And your orientation at the beginning was classical?
Yeah, originally when I started studying, it was entirely classical, and that was my entire foundation, and I'm really grateful for that because I think with that I was able to start to expand.
You started to expand. And when did you start to expand?
I I'd say probably when I came to Manus. So I studied with Donna on our own lessons for probably 4 years, I'd say, and then 4 or 5 years. And then in 2016, I joined Manus and I started taking composition lessons with Dr. Steven Sacco. And I sort of fell in love with creating my own music. And from there, I joined the jazz ensemble and I sort of brought all those things together. And I think that's sort of created my music identity today.
Are there any particular jazz pianists that you inspired you as on the road to expansion?
I'd say so. I love Oscar Peterson.
Right.
He has some great albums out there, but also Ahmad Jamal, Thelonious Monk. Um, yeah, a lot of great pianists out there who've inspired me, but I think I've learned the most from just playing with other musicians and just learning how to play in a band. I think that helped me the most.
And you also studied composition with Adam Dwyer in London. Was that in London or was he in New York?
I studied jazz piano with Adam Dyer, and yeah, he is a music teacher and pianist in London. So that was entirely in London, and he visited New York for 2 weeks. This is a long time ago, but when he came to New York, I studied with him as well.
I see. And I understand that you produced, wrote, and recorded a self-titled five-song album at the Smash Studios in Midtown. So that was your own album. Tell us about
I
that.
did, yeah. So in addition to just piano, I also do pop music. I'm a singer and songwriter. So I got the chance to bring together a band of incredible musicians. I played piano and sung on all the tracks. There was drums, bass, guitar, and we recorded all of it, rehearsed, produced all of it um, from March to June of last year, and I released it in July. Like the writing of those songs, it started like years before, but I finally got to put it together and release it, which was really gratifying for me. And also for pop music, I worked on a new song, a single that's going to come out very soon. With a producer named Harper James, and we recorded that at DeGraw Sounds, which is in Brooklyn. So that'll be out very soon.
And what is that album going to, what can we look forward to hearing on that album?
Um, I think it's the same style of songwriting. It's definitely pop, but this time I wrote the song on guitar and I played guitar on the song.
Oh,
So,
really? Uh-huh.
um, yeah, whole new world for me. But I'm also teaching myself guitar and bass and drums. So, yeah, playing a lot of the instruments on this one.
That's fascinating. Now, 2 years ago, when you were performing at the Progressive Musicians Concerto Competition, you played the first movement of the Haydn Piano Concerto, but I understand there was a little something special that went on in that performance.
Yeah. So, yeah, what I loved about that piece, in addition to just the piece being fantastic on its own, I wanted to put my own touch on it. So I wrote my own cadenza for it, very short, about 1 minute, but I felt that I left my mark on the piece in a way, and it made it very fun, especially to perform with the orchestra.
Well, I'm sure Haydn would have loved it.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then now let's get to the piece that's will be featured this time. And as I mentioned, it's called Fusion Fantasy by yourself. And tell us a little bit about Fusion Fantasy. It's for piano. It's a concerto for piano and orchestra. Will you be performing the whole piece?
I will be. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about this piece.
Okay. So this concerto really came as an idea that from my piano teacher Donna. She said that I should take what I've learned about composition and combine all my genres, whether it's classical, jazz, even pop and theater. She said I should take everything that inspires me as a musician and put it into like a great grand piece that I can perform. And that's what really started Fusion Fantasy. And I think the reason I called it that is because the writing of it wasn't very fluid, I'd say. Like a lot of times with pieces and pieces I've written, like it all just comes out at once. But this time it was really like I write part by part. I just sit down at the piano, play the first thing that comes into my head, and put it onto the paper. And I take all those different ideas and weave them together. And I think that's like fusion, it goes for genres, but it also goes for ideas since I'm sort of putting it all together.
That's really fascinating. Where I'm looking forward to hearing the piece because it sounds quite fascinating. Now, you also host a charity rock concert at your school, the Horace Mann School, called Urban Aid. Tell us a bit about that and how did that get into your thinking?
Sure. So, both of my parents went to the same school as I did.
Oh,
Horace.
really? Is that right?
Yeah, so my mom, she told me about a tradition that Horace Mann used to have. It used to be a concert called Urban Aid, where students would come together, form bands, teachers would perform, and they'd all like put together like a 3 hour program and festival of rock music. And like funds from tickets and merch would go to um, local charities in the Bronx. But that had been discontinued for like the 20 years in between or the 15 years in between when they went and I went. So I felt that since I wanted to leave a mark on HM, I wanted to bring Urban Aid back. So I worked with the student government, the community council. We had our small 3-person committee, and we put on the performance. Last year, we raised $4,000,
Wow.
and this year we raised $6,000
Oh,
for
my
the
goodness.
Ridge Heights Community Center. So I guess part of my role in that was leading the project start to finish, but also sort of taking charge on the music side of it, like taking kids and putting them together in bands. I myself was in 4 different acts, just like sort of bringing people together for music and creating something good out of it.
Well, that's really admirable and wonderful, and I hope that continues. Now, you're in the 11th grade, so you have 2 more years at Horace Mann.
2 more years. Yeah.
And as we wrap this up, tell us about your future plan. What college do you hope to go to, or do you plan to go to college?
I do plan to go to college, and I have a lot of ideas. I've done a lot of tours. I've done a lot of visits. I'm not set on any one place. I have a lot of options, and I'm not going to go into specific schools, but I like the idea of going to a university with a great music program, like getting into a big place, having like a big sort of semi-traditional 4-year college experience, but I still want to be able to play gigs, have my own shows, have my own music projects, and make connections while I'm still a student. So I hope my next steps take me there.
And what are your dreams for the future beyond college? Any idea what you'd like to wind up doing with your life?
I want to be a music producer. So that's a pretty wide term. So I guess my definition of what that means is that I will work up close with artists or myself as an artist, and I would write songs, arrange songs, record them, perform them, and sort of bring artists' ideas to life and like take a raw song idea and put instruments to it, put chords and a melody to it, and learning how to like take words and make them hits, I guess.
Well, Matthew Brand, it's fascinating to talk with you. We're looking forward to hearing the Fusion Fantasy, and I wish you the best in all of your future endeavors, college and beyond college, and I hope all your dreams and aspirations come to fruition.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.